Good morning. Apparently, I posted a video about Grant not paying his investors, and all of a sudden everybody posted a video after that using verbatim things I said. Well, that's cool. We're all in this together. Okay, Grant stopped paying investors for one or two reasons. He's trying to preserve capital. He's in a financial problem right now. He's in a negative cash flow coming into his properties. People stop paying, and he already knows what's going to happen. So the first thing you do is stop paying investors, using that money to service the debt and to keep operations going in the apartment complexes. You have to do it. The biggest problem that he has now, he's going to owe millions of dollars to the investors on interest. Because if this goes on for months, it's just going to accumulate, it could be tens of millions of dollars of interest. That's a whole nother issue, how we would finance that money. But the problem is, negative cash flow is not a good look. He needs money to operate, and people are not going to pay. And they really so. People lose their jobs. One day they're working, next day they're not. And this could go on for 6 months before the economy actually really starts up and people are going to, get back on track. So what's going to happen? He was probably at 80 to 90% occupancy already, and he's probably down 20% or more right now. He said he can't go below 69% or put some underwater. And I'm sure he's underwater. He said he reached out to all his investors and, and people in apartment complexes. I'm sure he had to. He has no option. He's trying to see how many people in the apartment complex are going to go negative on paying the rent. And there's not a whole lot he can do about it. And if you think he's going to sue people for give late payments or whatever in months to come, the courts aren't going to rule in his favor. The courts are going to say the people had no choice. They had to survive. So they'll end up paying the rent back, but you can't accumulate all these fees on them because it's not out of their control. So he's got a bunch of issues here. He's got no new money coming into his funds. He's got no cash flow from the rents, and it's a problem. So if you're an investor, you've got an issue right now, a big issue. What do I do? You're not getting your money. There's so many people, probably invested in him from Florida, retirement community, because he's always doing all his seminars around, believing that would be a good investment. So they invest, part of their retirement, $100,000 or so. So you're looking at that check every month. But now you're not getting that check. Now your capital is at risk. Grant has a problem. He needs to refinance the debt. The problem is he overpaid for all these properties, and he's so leveraged on the property. There's no equity in the properties, and financial institutions right now will be very leery of lending money to him unless he comes and says, I can't pay. They don't want to own the properties, because especially apartment complexes, which is, yes, they're Class A properties, but they're not the kind of commercial properties that actually people invest in. People usually invest in office parks where they can make money on, high-end leases. But they have no option. Sometimes the bank will have to play the game with him because they don't want to own the properties. So what lies ahead next couple of months, I don't know. Grant, he can't file for bankruptcy because these are investment funds. So the problem is if he has 3 or 4 properties, and say he has 3 properties in one fund, and one of those properties goes down, what is your percentage on that property? How does it affect your principal? Because it could happen. There's no doubt about it. It could happen. 1 or 2 properties could go underwater, and if he has a negative cash flow for months, how long can he go on? If he closes the fund down and walks away from 3 or 4 apartment complexes, it hurts his credibility because he's been a big blowhard all about it for the last couple of years. I'm the #1 real estate guy in the world. Invest with me, and he's still telling people to invest with him, and he's underwater in cash flow. Makes no sense to me. Where does Grant lie ahead? I don't know. We'll see what happens in weeks to come. Grant's been very honest. I have to admit, he's been very open about it. He's doing the right thing by not paying the investors, but at the end run, he's going to have to owe millions of dollars to them, and that's the biggest problem. Grant has a cash flow problem. No money coming in is a problem for any investor, for any real estate person, because it's very hard to run operations for so long if you have a negative cash flow. So he's been open. We'll see what goes ahead. Every week he's coming out and talking more about it. Yes, he's still in hiding in Clearwater, and rightly so. He doesn't want to be near his office. And I don't get it. Everything he does is remotely on. He's definitely at one of those Skyview apartment complexes in Clearwater, and I don't know what the answer is Keep the faith. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.